Okay, now after you've got your hinges on, you can take your lock movement and put it in position with spring clamps. And you're going to turn around and you're going to put the handle on here. That should be a snug fit. Now check if your dial that you've got ready to go is too tight on there. That's supposed to be loose. Then we're going to have to make a slight modification on this. And I'll show you that next. Okay, we're going to use the drill press. We're going to put the knob. Make sure your knob's fitting in there okay. You still can do some fine sanding on that, but right now, just open this vise up so it sits down. Don't try to hold this in by hand. Now you can see right now that isn't going to work. It's not going to work, so I've got to loosen this, lower the table, and I'll go ahead and tighten the table back up. And all I want to do is drill that out just a little bit with 5/8 inch drill bit. Be careful not to go too deep or you'll mess up your knob. But all I've done is ream that out just a little bit so I can so it'll fit on it, because it's supposed to be loose over the top of that pin that sticks out. Okay, I've drilled that out. Now that just sits right on there. It turns loose. Line up the pin, and there's my lock ready to turn, my dial. Now, the next step is to make sure that you can look inside of there, and each one will turn, each one of these tumblers has to be able to turn separately. And that looks like that works well. Then pretend like you're just going to open it up and line up those tumblers to this pin. You see they've got the deep slot right there. Line that one up. Line the next one up. The next one. And at this point you should be able to turn this right here, and that will lift the tumbler right here. So that means it seems to work. This right here will go on here, but I wouldn't put that on just yet. You can glue that on, just a dab of glue later. But at this point it works. There's no reason you can't go ahead and attach your lock mechanism to the back of the door. Okay, now after you've taken the clamps off, what you need to do is test it and do your combination, because if you put the back on before you figure the combination out, you won't be able to get open. So take it around to where the first tumbler lines up with the pin and write down that number. In my case it's 14. Everyone's going to be different. And then I back off to where the next tumbler lines up. And I've got 19. And then the last tumbler. And I have a 3. And voila. Okay, now just a little bit of glue. It's not going to take a lot. Slip it on, line up the holes, position that way. Put the clamps on, come back to the other side, make sure things move easily. Make sure the tumbler here turns okay. Make sure the gears turn okay. If they don't, now's the time to adjust it, because after that glue sets, you're going to have a tough time of it. Mine was just a little bit tight. Okay. Things turn okay. Get one turner right, the other one's off. Okay, I think I'm okay. Just let that set. We don't glue the handle or the knob on yet. We don't put those on till we're after we're stained. Now the next thing you put on, you turn it upside down and do the feet. Now the feet, where they go, doesn't really matter. Just be consistent. All I'm going to do is just use my finger as a gauge and draw a quick line. A little dab of glue in the center of each of them. Position it. Press it in place. And do that to all of them. That's all there is to putting the feet on. Be careful not to move them while they set. And then all we have to do is put the dowel holes, plug those holes up.